How many aborted visions do you have floating in your archives? Praise God loves. Recently, as I was listening into Pastor Godfrey Wheeler's teaching about having a personal vision, bless him for that teaching, it got me thinking, maybe I should share my strategy that is helping me accomplish more and more visions. We all have that time of the year where we sit down and draft visions. It doesn't have to necessarily be beginning or end. It can happen any time of the year. Anyhow, I was this kind of person who would draft visions, work on them a little bit, and before I know it, I abort them. Onto the next, the same thing happens. And I would go to God and ask Him, why are things not happening for me? What is wrong with me? I would present to Him valid points. By the time I thought they were valid, but they were not. Until I realized that the mischievous allegations had to stop and I had to flow like a river. Let's read Psalms 46, verse 4, which is going to be our main text for today. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the city of God. This whole chapter is a song written by the sons of Korah. They were looking for God's help, which they did find. God's help is greater than any crisis. But back to the verse. Jerusalem has always been vulnerable to drought. So I think the psalmist had a futuristic imagination of the constant abundant flow of the river, probably Gihon, am I pronouncing it well? Gihon Spring, that it was going to bring peace and happiness to the city. When you look closely at nature, God's presence will be manifested to you, but the river is different. It is something else. I have had a chance of studying the river. I used to live somewhere in Pennsylvania, and the back of the house had a river, so I had some good time to study the river. The river is calm, peaceful, and it will continue flowing no matter what. It does meet some obstacles because there are always some big stones, fallen trees, fallen branches, you name it. But it's not going to be like, okay, today I'm not flowing because there's an obstacle. If it needs to flow under the obstacle, that's exactly what the river is going to do. Remember, it is God's presence. The biblical reference to this would be when the children of Israel were leaving Egypt, going to the promised land, and they had to go under the Red Sea. Some of them were scared. Some of them wanted to go back. But because they had God's presence, they went under the Red Sea. When the river goes under the obstacle with time, the fallen trees will rot, the fallen branch will rot, and it will eventually clear the path. Another time, the river will have around the obstacle. And the biblical reference of this is when the children of Israel were moving from Egypt to the promised land. They moved in circles because they had to avoid the obstacles. Right now, as you're moving from Egypt to Israel, it takes like 40 minutes, but it took them 40 years because they had to avoid some obstacles. And as you avoid the obstacles, I know you're going to take a long journey, but trust me, you are going to get there eventually. There are times the river will not be patient to go under or go around the obstacle, but it will just go through whatever obstacle it is. It could be a mountain, it could be a fallen tree or a fallen branch, whatever it is. Biblical reference of this is in Joshua chapter 3, I think. When the children of Israel had to cross River Jordan, and it wasn't dry like Red Sea, but the priest had to take that faith and step in. When the priests carrying the ark stepped into Jordan, that is when the water from upstream stopped flowing, and the children of Israel were able to cross through River Jordan. Sometimes you are going to go through those obstacles, however big they may be, and you're going to go through them without fear because you have the presence of the Lord. What am I trying to say? I am saying that When you are accomplishing these visions, you need to have the presence of God no matter what. That is how you're going to be able to go under, through, or around obstacles. Laughs, plays, flow like a river when you are accomplishing your visions. And trust me, it is going to work for you no matter which situation. This flowing like a river doesn't work on only financial visions, it works on all visions. That's it for today. Stay blessed. Let's continue living our lives through the verse. Bye.